Whew, 2021, what a year. What a year for game releases, game delays, and game announcements. There's been a lot of great games this year, a lot of not so great games as well, but this video is my personal top 10 games that came out in 2021. Please remember that this video is entirely my own opinion. You are totally entitled to your own, even though you're wrong and I'm probably right. But if there was a game in 2021 that you enjoyed that is not on my list, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. I'd love to start a discussion with you, and maybe I will find a new game that I love. Also, do know that I have begun streaming again on my Twitch channel. It is twitch.tv/Rojin007. I stream there every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, with the occasional Sunday stream when I'm feeling up for it. But without further delay, let's get to my top 10 games of 2021. Party games are a staple in gaming, from normal board games to Jackbox Party Pack to even Smash Bros. But in my opinion, the king of all party games goes to Mario Party. From the OGs on the N64 to the GameCube games, Mario Party has always been one of the go-to party games. Mario Party Superstars came out this year and is a combination of most of the older games levels and mini games all combined into one game. I love the levels that are in this game, and most of the mini games are a ton of fun. I will say the reason this is only at my number 10 spot is because it feels almost like certain things are missing. Certain features, a ton of characters, like why isn't Toad, Toadette, Drybones, Koopa Troopa, and even Goomba? Why are they not playable characters? And I also don't understand why there are only 5 maps and a limited number of minigames. If this is Superstars, why didn't they just throw everything and everyone in this? Nevertheless, this is a great drinking game with friends, and I enjoy whenever we get a group going for Mario Party Superstars. I do really hope that they have some DLC planned for this, but as of right now, nothing has been announced. Growing up, my first console was the Nintendo 64. I had the usual games on it, Mario Party, GoldenEye, Mario 64, but the game that captivated me and started my enjoyment for the entire franchise was Pokemon Snap. Who knew such a simple concept of taking pictures of fake animals could be as great as it was? Well, fast forward nearly 22 years and we finally got a sequel called New Pokemon Snap. I do love the original 151 Pokemon, but in the OG Pokemon Snap, they only put 63 of them in there. Well, now we have 234 in the new Pokemon Snap, and it just feels like way more content. I loved all the new biomes, all the places we got to visit, and all the Pokemon we had to encounter. I do wish it was more unlockable areas, similar to the N64 version, such as throwing your apple at the electrode and unlocking the volcano level. I hope this proves to Nintendo how much people like Pokemon Snap, and it makes Nintendo make more sequels like this. It is a gorgeous and very enjoyable game with amazing Pokemon. I really hope we get more games like this. I think it's amazing that older franchises can still release games and make a shit ton of money. Nintendo is the greatest example of that. They can remake any of their games or release sequels to them and make a ton of money off of them just off the title and nostalgia alone. Well, that's what happens in our next entry, Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This might sound like a cop-out of a pick, but I don't care. This is my list. I'm specifically talking about Bowser's Fury for this entry. It felt like the Mario Odyssey DLC that we never got. Well, you know, minus Cappy. Each island was a different biome, so it didn't feel like we were rehashing the same shit over and over again. I did wish this game was 6 to 8 hours longer, but that's an amazing gripe to have for any game. I can't wait to see Mario back in whatever game he plays next, but Bowser's Fury was a must-play for me this year. I mean, who doesn't like a Super Saiyan cat and fighting a giant shadow Giga Bowser? This game is a ton of fun. Many single-player games can be played in co-op, but you hardly ever see a game that is 100% co-op and is required of you to play in co-op in its entirety. Well, one company continues to make games that push the boundaries of what we expect in video games. Hazelight Studios continues to knock it out of the park with what I feel to be their rough drafts in Brothers and A Way Out, with their shining gem, It Takes Two. I played this game over the course of a few sporadic nights with my buddy Riley, where I played Cody and he played May. And we had a great time. From screwing around with your partner to killing them in-game for fun to enjoying the gorgeous environments together. This game was a welcome change to gaming for us. The game constantly changes so you don't feel like the mechanics get stale, from the nail and the hammer at the beginning to shrinking and changing gravity later on, to Cody becoming a plant and May with a water gun. The game is evolving as you play. Also, can't forget to mention when May becomes a warrior and Cody becomes a mage in the castle level. That was my favorite part. I can't wait to see what Hazelight Studios produces next, because this game made me a fan of theirs for years to come. Nintendo is the king of IPs, from Pokemon to Mario to Zelda. There are so many different genres that they own, but one that I've never attempted to play was about a badass space warrior in her badass power suit fucking up aliens throughout the galaxy. Well, that all changed when my friend would not shut up about this game. So he lent it to me for me to stream, and I was not disappointed. Metroid Dread is not my typical game that I try and play. I love FPSs, I love RPGs, but I can't say that I'm a huge fan of 2D games. But Metroid Dread took me out of my comfort zone and fucked me up the entire way through, and I loved it. All the bosses were challenging, but not impossibly difficult. As you unlock all the power-ups for the suit, the colors of the suit change, and you start to feel unstoppable. Well, that is until you run into Ravenbeak, or as he was known in my chat, as Birdman. Yeah, he was an asshole, and it took me forever to get past him and beat the game. But something else this game does is whenever you die, you know it's your own fault. The game has a certain way to do things and to fight things, and you just have to figure it out. I will say though, I do have a few gripes, such as all the cutscenes are unskippable and you have to watch them every single fucking time you die. And me personally, I have the entire final cutscene right before Birdman memorized, because of how many times I died, or every single time I fought an Emmy, I have that entire cutscene stuck in my head. Also, I feel like the world is very large and they give you very little hints on where to go. And I don't mind a little bit of hand holding just so I don't get lost and have to run around like a fucking lemon for hours on end. Nevertheless, I had a blast in my first Metroid game and I can't wait to play whatever future games come out. I think one of the highest of praises is when you can compare a game to another game that was extremely successful. For example, comparing your game to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the highest of praises you can receive. Well, that's exactly what our next entry got. Kena, Bridge of Spirits, was compared to Breath of the Wild from the get-go, and I can definitely see the similarities. Kena is a compelling character from the first time you take control of her, and the Rot are adorable, and they make you want to collect all of them. I do wish there was more customization for Kena's staff, her outfit, the colors for the Rot. The Rot hats are cute, but in a world where you run into only 10 people, I just wanted more. Also, I just wish there was more in this world. The world feels very, very empty, especially for an open world, and it kind of just made me feel insanely lonely when I was playing through this. There are so many villages in this game, and they're so beautiful, but everyone is dead, so it is incredibly lonely, and that's the reason why it's outside my top 4. Well, we discussed Zelda in our last entry, so speaking of Zelda, our next entry is a remake, so you can take this as a cop-out as well, but I had never played this game when it was on the Wii, so it is coming in at my number 4 game of 2021. I absolutely love this game. The world is amazing to play around in. The items Link gets are all unique, and the fighting mechanics were improved on for what I was told, so it feels great. What takes the cake for me is the story this game has. From what I've seen online, this is technically the first chronological game in the franchise, so it does a lot of setup, but it didn't confuse me at all. Zelda and Link feel so connected in this game. I will say this game suffers from its age a little on how empty it feels, but you can definitely tell the inspiration this game had for Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild is, in all definitions of the word, a perfect game. So it only makes sense that Skyward Sword had to walk so Breath of the Wild could run. I want even more remakes of Zelda games. Remake them all. Put them all on the Switch. I want to replay them all, because unfortunately I never got to play them when I was growing up. So I look forward to any Zelda projects that come out in the future, because I am a giant Zelda fan. Our next entry comes from a franchise that defined a generation, that started a genre in gaming that had many great entries, but unfortunately has died off in popularity over the years. And now it's making its comeback in 2021. Any guesses? That's right, coming in at number 3 is Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is a masterclass in exactly what the franchise needed in its next step. It feels like 343 Industries finally made a game that the majority of the community loves. The multiplayer is a ton of fun, and it feels so familiar, but I want to base this number 3 entry entirely on the campaign of Infinite. I'm a huge single player fan, and this game scratched a lot of my itches for Halo. Master Chief is one of the greatest protagonists of all time, and he is back in a new but familiar adventure. The exploration and combat in this game is fresh with new abilities, but also nostalgic for veteran Halo fans. The fact that after the first upgrade of the grappling hook makes it so you can never fall off the map, and also makes it so you can scale any mountain or any structure easily, is a welcome change. While I do have many gripes with this game, mainly discussing things that were taken out, such as weapons, and the way they went about the story regarding Halo 4 and 5. But this game was so insanely fun to play. As soon as the credits started rolling, my only thought was, oh man, we have to wait 3 to 4 more years for another great Halo game. Gaming is a fickle industry. For me personally, when a company wrongs their consumers in shitty ways such as with microtransactions, cheap money grabbing tactics, or unfinished products, it makes me stay away from those games. Hell, it makes me stay away from those companies entirely. And truth be told, I've never been a big fan of Bethesda before. It'll shock most of you to hear that I didn't really like Skyrim, most of the Fallouts, Doom, or Dishonored. And especially after Fallout 76 and all the bullshit Bethesda put their fans through, I was ready to write them off completely. But then came a game with an insanely confusing concept called Deathloop that came in and stole the number 2 spot on my top 10 list. In this game, you play as Colt, and he goes through the game repeating the same day over and over again, trying to break the loop. You realize the only way to break the loop is to kill certain people in a certain sequence in order to overload the system and break the loop. So that's the whole game. You revisit parts of the day to find new clues, weapons, and ways to get people to be at certain points in order to kill them all in one day before the day resets itself. Man, did I love this game. I was a bit confused until about midway through, until you start getting people to be where they need to be, and it starts to all fall into place. The ending gives you a choice, and I still don't know if I chose the correct one. Don't worry, no spoilers here. But I still loved it. The weapons and abilities are so insanely fun and unique as well. Deathloop was, for lack of a better way to put it, a disasterful masterpiece. Don't get it twisted, I loved this game. After beating it, I had thought it was my game of the year for the longest time. That is, until our next entry came out. One of the most popular modern day IPs is, of course, Marvel. Anything Marvel sells, sells well. Just look at Spider-Man PS4, just to name one example. Well, when Marvel's Avengers came out, it left a sour taste in all of our mouths. So when a Guardians of the Galaxy game was announced, everyone, including myself, was extremely skeptical. Boy, were we wrong. Guardians of the Galaxy takes everything people loved about the movies and the characters and made it into a video game. You play as only Peter Quill, and you go on a galaxy-saving adventure with the normal Guardians crew. I love how each level and environment is unique, as well as its creatures. The characters you meet and the choices you make throughout your adventure help influence certain events throughout the game, and it feels like your choices really do matter. My biggest love in this game has to be the music. Oh my god, is the music just as good in this game as it is in the movies. The final boss fight has the perfect song to fight a final boss with in The Final Countdown, and it is spectacular. I hope Marvel continues to make amazing single-player games, because this game and Spider-Man PS4 show just how amazing this franchise can be. Bravo to Eidos Montreal for this amazing game, and in my opinion, the best game of 2021. So, what'd you think? Did you enjoy my list? Was there any games that you thought should be on the list, or any games that you saw on the list that you did enjoy? Please feel free to leave those in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like and subscribe, share the video with your friend, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you.